Hey everyone, this is Kyle, Native Berry Farm. This is the better half, Kinsey. Yikes. Okay, so today, what are we going to be doing?
We're doing the goat fence, putting up the electric fence with poly wire instead of the other wire.
Nice. Okay, steel gauge wire.
Gauge wire.
No.
Dang it.
That's okay. So anyways, yes, we're going to be using poly wire. We've found that this works better for the temporary fencing because it's easier to use. It's a lot lighter, and it actually tends to stay up better, we've found, with the insulators on the T-posts. So we like to use this, and what we're going to be doing is fencing all of this back here so that the goats can start clearing it. And what I've found, since our property is pretty steep, and it's not very even, it's easiest to start with the bottom insulator, attach the wire, and then run that through to the next T-posts. Then you can see how much dirt work you need to do instead of doing a bunch of dirt work beforehand that you didn't actually need to do.
There's a plane.
Yeah, I know.
Hello, plane. So the trouble really is just getting close enough to the ground to keep predators from being able to crawl under, or even a goat. And so on this unlevel ground, we have to find new high points. To save fence posts, we're actually just going to use what we have here, one of our trees, and screw in one of the insulators directly into this tree that we're planning to remove later after it's all clear. House.
Yeah, so last night, we eat dinner, and because of COVID, we skipped the whole anniversary dinner going out. We instead decided to work on the fence. We can blame her for that. And so she goes out after dinner to Angela's and comes back home, and she's like, "I've got your birthday present for you." And I was like, it's not my birthday, it's our anniversary. So what's going on? And she just gets this sheepish grin and starts to, tell me about this awesome opportunity that we've got. And we're gonna go see what that is.
These are brand new babies. They were just born. You know what? Do you know what you were probably doing when they were born?
Yeah.
Sleeping, because they decided to come out at 2 a.m. in the morning. Can you do it? There you go, good job.
So can you guess which one I fell in love with?
No, I don't want that one.
You want the other one?
You're picking up?
Well, that's okay, because I want to hold him. Can you be really careful?
So how many of these are boys and how many are girls?
They're unfortunately all boys.
All boys and all boys.
Yes. So we'd put in an order for 3 girls, but that's not what we got.
Oh no.
Sit down.
That's okay. That happens.
So Angela is the goat whisperer. She has Rainy Rock Farm, and you have how many goats?
We have quite a few.
Yeah.
We have, let's see, so right now you guys are holding babies 61, 62, and 63 for the year.
Oh.
So obviously we don't keep all the babies, we sell the vast majority of them. But unfortunately this finishes out our kidding year, so we're thrilled and relieved because we're a little bit tired at times.
The best for last. This is the cutest little guy. So I came last night just to innocently drop off some bread, and then I fell in love. And so because these are so late in the season, there's less of a market for your bucklings. And
Right.
so you were planning on most likely banding them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just
selling
because
as
they're
wethers.
so young, it's unlikely that they'll be able to use much this season. They just won't be old enough.
But this is a light buckskin, which you said is a little more rare.
It's not that it's rare, it's just it's a different color combination than the other one, which is dark. So this one has a dilution gene. But I do think this guy is going to have blue eyes.
Beautiful.
So that is not super common. It is a dominant trait, however. So in order to have blue eyes, you have to have at least one parent with blue eyes. And in our case, Pixie has blue eyes.
And you are on year 7 or 8 with your goat farm.
Year of kidding. I think this is our 7th year of kidding. Yeah. So we've had goats since 2013. And so that was when Pixie was born. She was actually one of our 2 original goats.
And this is, so Tia's grandma, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Tia's grandma. Yeah.
I know you are bad.
She's a good mama.
She's a sweetie.
Yeah, Pixie placed at nationals this year. She was the 20th place doe in the 5 and 6-year-old class.
Wow.
And she's also earned her superior genetics designation, which means at one point in her lifetime, she was within the top 15% of all registered Nigerian dwarfs within the AGA registry.
That's
And
impressive.
so it's a permanent designation. So she'll always have that on her paperwork. So we're excited for that. She actually was not born here. Like I said, she was one of our first goats that we purchased. She was purchased from our friend up in Sequim. And Dawn Henderson is her name. And she actually earned Reserve Grand Champion last year at the Southwest Washington Dairy Goat Association show in Chehalis. Over 60 does. So it's pretty exciting to show. In fact, I had champion and reserve in the same ring with 2 of my does that year. So it was really exciting to place first and second. And actually Dawn came and showed Pixie for me while I showed my doe that took grand. And so it's a lot of fun to do that. So.
I don't think we even realize how lucky we are to be so close to you and learning from you, the goat superstar of the nation.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. But I relied a lot on mentors to help me. So
Well, thank you for
it's a
being
good community.
our mentor. I think that's how you do it. You want to get into goats, you got to find a goat mentor.
Definitely, it's a lot to learn on your own.
And I'm really nervous about jumping into keeping a buck. That's a huge jump. Separate pen and
Yeah, some different needs. They're similar still to the does. Up until breeding season, then things change a little bit. The first year, not so much, but after that, those hormones really kick in, and you'll need stronger fencing than what you might typically need for a doe. For example, we typically use welded wire with our does, but with our buck pins, we always use woven wire because it's a little bit stronger.
sorry. You want to come in, Kimber? You want to come in? It's okay. She just wants her baby
She's just
back.
checking on her baby. You know what? That baby was naughty earlier, and that's part of the reason she's checking. Do you see this netting here? That is because this little buddy kept getting out of the pen.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Just
They're
squeezing
just
right
so
through?
teeny.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Mama's been a little worried about him, making sure he's not running away. You can't really blame her.
Good mama.
So can you keep bucklings with the rest of your herd with a buck apron, or do you still recommend from the get-go?
Some people do. I would think that's taking a risk still.
Yeah, because it's easy to fall
It's
off.
real easy to fall off. And when those hormones kick in, they can be really persistent. And the does can even, when they're in heat, can be really persistent as well. In fact, I've brought a buck into a pen and had a doe try to kind of wiggle in front because she was
Yeah.
also in heat and thought it was her turn.
Give me a man.
Right.
So right away, like at 8 weeks, taking a buckling home, you want separate fencing and
Right. So the earliest I separate is 8 weeks. Depending on how masculine they're acting, sometimes I'll wait up to 10 weeks, especially if they're the runt of the litter, or maybe a little bit smaller and behind in development, to give them a little bit longer with their dam for milk. If they're on a bottle, I probably still would go ahead and pull at 8 weeks, and that way you just keep them on the milk. I try not to wean any of my kids younger than 8 weeks.
so if we took him home around 8 to 10 weeks, then would I still want to do a bottle, or is he
Not
fine?
necessarily. Yeah, he should be
on
fine
some
afterwards.
grain
It wouldn't
and-
hurt to do a bottle still, but he wouldn't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to have my all the babies well started on grain and hay way before 8 weeks. So they'll start nibbling a little bit as babies, and they'll just mouth the food a little bit and spit it out. But it kind of gets their rumen ready to start digesting the food.
we got all the wire run, and then we put down some grounding rods. Now we're gonna put up the charger. We went with the Patriot P10. There are a lot of different brands you can use. This one's been working good for us, and you can get it just off Amazon. And you want to get a charger that's going to be more voltage than you think you actually want because of the stuff that inevitably ends up on your fence and whatnot. It deadens it. The length of your fence, that'll also deaden the charge, and so that ends up making it so it's actually the charge you want for your animals. And what we're going to do is we are already using this tree for the fence, so we're going to go ahead and put a screw in and mount our charger to that. Let's get that. And then we can just hang it on. Once you've got your charger set up, fence, everything's going, I recommend you get a voltometer so you can check that it's actually live, see like what the actual voltage is going through it. So you can put it on, you can see we're getting between 5 and 5.5, which is perfect for the dwarf goats we have. Bringing the goats down to their new pasture. Well, it's not a pasture yet, but it will be. What do you guys think of your new space? You don't have to sleep here, I promise. We'll take you back to the barn. Here come the other 3.
Can I go pet them?
Yeah, let's go put them in.
And we've got the rest of them.
The end of the week, we finished a project. We have our goats in their pasture in the back.
Pasture to be. There's a lot of brush, but the idea is that they'll help clear that for us.
Yeah, they cleared everything in the front, and so they should have this clear in no time. And all that forage is really good for them. It's like salad for us. Yeah, they didn't want to eat it at first. You don't like starve them, but don't give them tons of grain and the best hay. You gotta make sure they're hungry enough to try it out. And now they love it. Took them about a year to decide to eat the brush. Before that, they were princess goats.
Yeah, you don't want to give them too much grain anyways.
So I think this project went really well.
I'd agree.
We tried to use everything we already had for the most part. We bought fence posts. But doing this, we actually learned we could use a lot of trees because we want the goats to clear this for us so that we can go out and thin out some trees. Yeah, honey?
That looks fun. So we want to clear some of those trees. We found that a lot of the trees in this forest that we have, because it was clear cut before, aren't super healthy. And so using them for part of the fencing would help cut a lot of costs because those T-posts are like $5 a piece. So if you have a bunch of trees there, you can just screw in some insulators to them and use some more of those.
As long as they're not your healthy trees that you're wanting to keep.
Right.
But as we get further back, we could use pretty much all trees. It's so thick back there that we probably don't even need fence posts. Just screw in the insulators and fence the whole thing, and we have 5 acres for millions of goats.
I don't know about millions.
What, sweetie? And so we're gonna need to do another pasture. Since we're getting our buckling, we're gonna have a buck pen.
Our first buck.
And then a pen for everyone else, and we're hopefully gonna bring up the fence to the goat barn so that they can come down themselves and we don't have to take them on a leash every day.
Yeah, that'll be nice because it's gonna get old real fast having to carry them down on a leash. What
else are we doing with our time?
Nothing at all.
Thanks so much for watching and following along with the farm. I'm Kinsey.
I'm Kyle.
And this is Native Berry Farm. We'll see you next week.